think we are live now. Finally. Looks like we are live. Welcome to another gorgeous morning here in Tokyo. I'm in front of Suitengumae station, where I ended yesterday's walk along the Hanzomon line, station number 10 out of 14. And the plan for today is to walk the remaining stations. But before I do that, I want to tell you about the weather. It is currently 14 degrees and sunny here in Tokyo, as you can see. Another wonderful day with clear blue skies. We've been so spoiled with these recently. I also want to do a little shout out to Wishful Walking Videos, this channel's mega sponsor. Thank you so much. He also makes walking videos from Japan, but mostly focuses on rural parts of Japan. So if that sounds interesting to you, you should check out this channel. It's linked in the video description. And I shall not forget to start the GPS tracking like I did yesterday, because now I want to be able to share the maps with you through my Patreon. So if you haven't already, you should join me on Patreon. That will give you access to lots of goodies, including maps of my walks, as well as Patreon only streams. The link is in the video description. Okay, with all that preamble out of the way, let's do a little location update. So we are here. As always in Japan, they don't really show the map with north up, so it's a bit confusing, at least for people like me who are used to north always being upwards on the map. But anyway, we are here. We will head towards Suitengumae, to the east from where I am right now. Not Suitengumae, sorry. We are heading towards Kiyosumi Shrine. That's the next stop on the Hanzomon line. In order to get there, we have to cross this river here, and I don't think this bridge might not be so pedestrian friendly, so I will take this smaller one instead, Kiyosumi Bridge. So that's the first point of today's walk. So let's go. Let's go. According to Google, the remaining part of the line will take me about an hour and 20 minutes if I just walk. Also here is Kiyosumi Shrine, which is a pretty beautiful shrine. Let's see if I can head inside and show it to you. Yeah, about 1 hour and 20 minutes, but that's it. And don't get lost. That's not gonna happen. So I think we're looking more at like a 2-hour stream today. So hope you will enjoy joining me on this little adventure. And if everything goes well, we will wrap things up at Tokyo Skytree, because that's where this train line ends, at Oshiage Station, which is basically at Tokyo Skytree. Suitengumae. This shrine, it's kind of interesting, right? It's very modern. You have to take these stairs up, and then let's see if we can just take a quick little peek here. I think we can. It's a pretty beautiful shrine though, very, very modern. So this is what it looks like. Big torii, and then the shrine building itself. Here's a cute little kappa statue with some kappa babies. You sound in very high spirit today. Haha, thank you. Yeah, I slept well, and my mood is pretty good today. I'm excited about today's walk as well. How old is this shrine? I honestly don't know that. Do not know, but I'm sure that someone among the viewers will be able to look it up for you. Okay, enough of this shrine. Let's keep on walking. But it is quite a quite a unique shrine in the way that it's built on this kind of concrete platform. I think it's pretty cool. And also, yeah, yesterday we talked a little bit about a potential upcoming job that will force me to travel to Shikoku. And it looks like it's all set, so I'll be going there tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be streaming from a vastly different place than today. I hope you will enjoy that. FAQ pin, right? Thanks for the heads up, I will do that. FAQ and rules in the video description. Map of walk on Patreon. Also, those of you who are on my Patreon might have noticed that I still haven't been updating or uploading a map of yesterday's walk. So I kind of messed things up a little bit yesterday, and it didn't really track with the GPS. So I looked further into it, and now today's walk I'm tracking properly. Yesterday's walk I have to map manually, so I will do that this afternoon. So yeah, this afternoon you should get the map of both today's walk and yesterday's walk. And Kiyosumi Shirakawa, we talked a little bit about that in the chat now before the stream started. Kiyosumi Shirakawa, where I'm heading now, is known as the coffee town in Tokyo, because there's lots of small coffee shops and breweries, or not breweries, roasteries in that part of town. So since I know that lots of my viewers are very much into coffee, I told them that if you want, you can start looking up where you want me to have my coffee break today, because I will definitely grab a coffee somewhere around there. There's also a very nice Japanese garden, the Kiyosumi Garden, around there. And I'm thinking about making a little stop there, if you would be up for that. It's a really beautiful, it's one of these kind of, I think it's managed by the city. You have to pay a small entrance fee to go inside, but it's definitely worth it because it's really a beautiful Japanese traditional garden. So ideally I want to maybe grab a coffee and enjoy it in there. I think that would be very much nice, very nice. Virtual Japan in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you here. Good morning. So let's see. Beer on the mind. No beer today. Most likely no beer today. As always, I don't drink beer before lunch, and I probably won't have lunch until after this stream. I think from now on there will be a lot of streams in this time of the day, because it just works with my schedule and with Mini Explorer in kindergarten and all that. So that should be good news to all my American viewers. Maybe not so great news for my European viewers, but I still hope to be able to squeeze in an evening stream from time to time. And thank you, Kenneth, for the super chat for refreshments. Thank you so much. And I think I also got a super chat from Wabi Sabi Master earlier. Thank you so much. Coffee funds for the morning gang. Thanks. Thanks. As always, it is wonderful, generous viewers like you, as well as my Patreons, who keep this channel going. So kudos to you. You are the best. You are the reasons why I can spend so much time on doing these walks, rather than focusing on more lucrative ways of spending my time. This place is a little bit confusing. By the way, we are close to the Tokyo City Air Terminal, which is like where a lot of the airport buses are stopping. I think that might be what we are seeing here, actually. So for people going to and from Narita Airport, especially. Like when I go to Narita Airport, I usually take the train to here and then I switch to bus from here. That's the quickest way for me. Getting to Narita is always a hassle because it's very far from the city center and extremely far from the part of the city where I live. But yeah, the quickest way is to kind of go use the subway to get to this part of town. Now we're kind of to the east of Tokyo, in the eastern part, and then from here you can continue with bus. It might be quicker to take some express train like Narita Express, but that means it's not a very convenient route for me personally where I live. But these buses are usually quite handy. I said that because you accidentally said brewery. I see, I get it. Virtual Japan, yeah. I guess I always have beer on my mind. Oh, let's cross here actually. Cross here first. Just before it turned red. And then we can go down here. Thank you, Michael Sneer, for the super chat. Thank you so much. So much, and not just for the super chat but also for your long-term Patreon support. I really appreciate it. Yeah, major road junction here with like 3 layers of big roads. And here's like the entrance to which one? To some Kosokudoro, Shutoko Expressway. Wherever that might be heading. I'm really not very educated on the road system here in Tokyo, since I'm not a driver myself. But other than that, I think this part of town is mostly residential. I don't think there's a terrible lot of apartments here, or of offices, but mostly apartments, as you can see. And here you kind of get a sense of how, I guess, the density of Tokyo, right? You have all these residential buildings very close together. When you look out your balcony or your window, all you see is the facade of the house next to you. I don't know, do you think, what do you say, viewers? Would you like to live on a street like this? Personally, it's a little bit too dense and claustrophobic, and maybe most importantly, like lacking sunlight, unless you live on a high floor. If it's cheap, I would. It's not cheap around here because it's very central still. You know, you're actually within walking distance from Tokyo Station, and also walking distance to the main business district. Like, so it's not cheap around here, but it's like, I guess it's kind of still somewhat reasonable, because most of the apartments we see here, they look pretty basic. They're not. These are no luxury apartments. These are pretty small and yeah, basic looking apartments, I would say. But due to the location, that still pushes up the rents or the prices quite a bit. So this is the bridge that we are crossing that will take us to the coffee town. Coffee town. And my guess is that we should be able to see Skytree from this bridge to get a sense of where we are heading. Although I'm probably walking on the wrong side of the bridge to get the best view of Skytree right now. But nevertheless. So let's see, where is Skytree? Where is Skytree? Can we see Skytree? Some of these apartments have roof terraces. Maybe. Usually. So the thing... there we go. Here's Skytree. Can you see Skytree? That's where we're heading today. So the thing with the zoning or like the building laws in Japan is that there are kind of set rules for how much sunlight you're allowed to block of your neighbors. That's why you see many buildings in Tokyo having like this kind of staircase pattern on the upper floors. And what that does is that it actually leaves plenty of apartments with big roof terraces. So unfortunately or strangely enough, like roof terraces doesn't seem to be valued very high here in Japan. You don't really see people using them much. Same with balconies. They're basically just a place to hang your laundry, not a place where you actually spend any time and enjoy the view. Whereas like if this was Sweden, then everybody would have like tables on their balconies and decorate them a bit nicely. Maybe some people do here as well, but most people just use their balcony for hanging laundry. Setback, is that the name of the... Yeah, I didn't know. My walks reminds you of walks in Cyberpunk 2077. I see, interesting. I've actually never played that game myself, but I am tempted. And I think I got an email this morning telling me that it's on sale on Steam right now, probably Black Friday sale. Maybe I should pick it up now that I have a pretty powerful laptop with RTX graphics. Still, like some of the land here seems to be a bit industrial. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of close to central Tokyo, but still the cheaper part, I would say. It's more expensive if you're like on the western side of Tokyo Station and around there. Then there's only luxury apartments basically. Around here I think you could probably rent a studio apartment for 100,000 yen or less. Who did you kill to get the RTX? Well, it's an RTX laptop, so those are not that hard to get. It's a laptop with a RTX 3080 that I picked up a couple of months ago, but the mobile RTX 3080 is not as powerful as the desktop one, of course. It's maybe about half the performance, but still quite decent. I'm not a hardcore gamer by no means, so it's good enough for what I needed. So now we are close to Kiyosumi Shirakawa. We are 550 meters away from the station. So let's take another look here. So we cross this bridge here now, and here's the Kiyosumi Garden. Then there's also the Kiyosumi. This is Kiyosumi Park. This is Kiyosumi Garden. So I think there was some good coffee shop around here that looked kind of interesting, which is also open this early. So I think I will go for that one. Then go to the garden, do a little coffee break there before we continue our adventure. Then we will continue walking first east to, I think, Sumiyoshi Station is the next stop on the Hanzomon line. And then it's basically a straight line up north via Kinshicho Station. And then we will be at Skytree. look at these kind of weird. These balconies doesn't look very safe to me. Maybe they're only for like emergency evacuation use, I would guess. Gas station, and then residential building just next to it. I think in Sweden this would not be allowed. I think there needs to be a certain clearance area between residential buildings and the gas station. I'm not sure. Maybe that's art. The balconies are fake. Yeah, could be. They don't look safe at all. Nah. Platform for bungee jump. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they built it like that. So here's Kiyosumi Park. Let me just take a look at the map again. If I can find. So there's a coffee shop called Tokaku Coffee. So I think I will try that one. So in order to get there, I will need to walk down here. But I could walk through the park. Yeah, let's do that. Of course, let's walk through the park. Beautiful day today. Ah, this is nice. Look at all these kids out playing. Local kindergarten kids or nursery kids. Maybe my daughter is out playing in some park right now as well. Not tonkatsu coffee. That sounds interesting though. Interesting combo. No, it's called Tokaku coffee. Tokaku coffee. I love that park. Ah, Yamaguchi-san, arigatou gozaimasu. Good to see you. And sorry, I keep saying that we should go and grab a beer, but then I'm just ending up being too busy, so it's difficult to arrange. But I really hope we can make it happen sometime soon. .300 viewers now. Thank you everybody. Welcome. If there's any new viewers out there, welcome to my channel. I do walks like this like basically every other day, or maybe more than that. So if that's your thing, you should consider subscribing to my channel. If you really like walks like this, you can join me on Patreon. That will give you access to some extra goodies like maps of the walks, Patreon only streams, and a few other things. The links are the link is in the video description. This is a very nice park. I think here we have like a vending machine spot for like all the local coffee drivers. I actually saw this on Google Maps too. Let's take a look. Let's just go down here. So this is like some service station for local taxi drivers, and they have this like vending machine only spot at this rest space. But a lot of people there, so I shouldn't bother them. Mr. Miyazaki, sorry to hear about your connection issues. Glad it's not my signal causing the issues for once. So far it looks very stable here on my end. So. Just have to walk back up here. hope that I don't walk too far. I want to make sure to find this coffee shop. Yeah, it's a little bit further down here. And what else? Yeah, like I said, I think today's stream will be about 2 hours. So if I walk all the way to Skytree, which I intend to do. Oh, thank you, Garfield. Thank you, Garfield, for the super chat. I will go to a place down here called Tokaku Coffee. I think it's this one. I think I can see it. Looks like they're specializing in single origin, but I mostly picked it because of the location, to be honest. Down here is the garden, so we will go there after grabbing a cup. Construction work everywhere in Tokyo, always construction work. So, let's see. Smells nice. I will ask for permission first before pointing the camera to everybody looking there. Konnichiwa. Tanzania お願いします。テイクアウトできますか？はい。はい。外に待ってていいですか？Okay. So it didn't really feel like the kind of place where I can shoot inside, and there are some guests, so it would be very difficult for me to shoot without getting them in the frame, which usually the shop owners don't like. We should set those things up in advance. But looked very nice anyway. Haircut fund. Thank you, Billman. And thank you, Jenny, for the super chat as well. Thank you, thank you. Wonderful. You're very generous today. Thank you. Appreciate that. Garfield as well. Jenny, Billman. And also, I think I just got a new Patreon. Thank you so much for joining me, Diane. Thank you. I hope you will enjoy being part of the Patreon family. If you have any questions or concerns, you are very welcome to send me a message to the Patreon messaging system anytime. I am a bit slow at responding there from time to time. I have a pretty big backlog of messages I need to get back to, but I do read and reply to it, to everything there. Just be a bit patient, please. So Monsokli channel. It's fun and Tokyo looks like a really nice city. I live in Seoul, Korea. Thank you for the kind words, and yes, Tokyo is nice, but so is Seoul. It's one of my favorite cities. I can't wait to travel there again once the whole pandemic situation gets better. So yeah, they're grinding the beans and everything, so it takes a while to get the coffee. Quite reasonable, 500 yen for high quality coffee like that, I think. But yeah, as soon as I get the coffee, I will head down to Kiyosumi Garden. I think I have to pay a couple of hundred yens to go inside, but I'm sure it will be worth it. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy the views there. It's really beautiful. I haven't been in like probably 3-4 years since my last visit. Like, this part of Tokyo is really nice actually, and I always think that, oh, I should come here more often, but it's really on the opposite side of town from where I live, so it takes me at least an hour just to get here, so it's a little bit far. Preparation time is important. It sure is. It sure is. You can't rush good coffee. Ah. ありがとうございます。どうもでした。素敵なお店です。ちょっと中でちょっと撮影していいですか？ありがとうございます。Okay, so I asked for permission to show the shop, and it's okay. So yeah, you saw this. This is like the coffee types and how bitter they are. They have that listed. This cake looks pretty delicious too, but it's a bit too early for cake. Yeah, this is what the rest of the place looks. Very nice. ありがとうございます。Get a piece of cake. Oh, not now. My hands are full as it is, but maybe I will get something sweet after the coffee. Let's see. But for now, let's head to the garden. Across the street here without getting a car in the back. Okay, I think we can do that now. 321 people virtually just entered the coffee shop. Right. Yeah, no, very nice place. I wouldn't mind coming back there. It feels like a good place to sit and chill with some good coffee and do some work. What's this? This looks like there's a shop in there. Quite interesting. And here we have a nice playground. This is what playgrounds should be like. This I approve of. It's not under a elevated highway, but surrounded by greenery. Perfect. Perfect. Buildings are not very inspiring, but this one looks like it could be, I don't know, a library somewhere in the west, which I think is a good thing. Surrounded by jonks. I hope not. I hope. And look, here we have something very rare. Public trash cans in Tokyo. Don't see that all the time. Really? Did we get some jonks? Really? That's super weird. It all looks good here. We're back now, right? It was just a very brief interruption. I don't know if you could hear what I said, but I was admiring this quite beautiful library. Kind of classical style building. Many libraries here in Tokyo are pretty boring when it comes to the design, but that place was beautiful. And I was also praising this playground. This is a very nice playground, I think. I mean, nothing extraordinary, but still, like, there's so many really sad playgrounds in Tokyo. So it's good to see that there are actually some not so sad ones as well. This coffee is good. I'm drinking it black, of course. It's very, very good. I'm so bad at explaining what things taste like, though. All I can say if it's tasty or not. Also, it's been a long time since you subscribed to my channel, but you haven't participated in the chat much. Yeah, my viewers are from all over the world. When I stream at this time of the day, there's a lot of American viewers, but also quite a lot of viewers from other Asian countries. And yeah, I think the entrance to the garden is just a little bit down here. If we walk this way, there's also many nice coffee shops around here. That's the part of Kiyosumi Shrine that I usually go to, actually. There's a nice kind of Suitengumae looking street here as well. But I think there might just be one entrance to the garden. But yeah, this area, this place looks nice too. Some like a bar just facing out the street. It's very nice. This area has been kind of hyped for quite a long time now. Like, I think since I came to Tokyo, it was already starting to be a lot of buzz about this part of town. And yeah, you can see that there's lots of interesting shops and restaurants popping up here. This looks like a very lush flower shop. Huh. Near the garden there's sakura spot. Yeah, I can imagine. Like, gardens always have beautiful sakura viewing spots as well, right? But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm actually heading the right direction now towards the entrance. This looks like a fancy ramen shop. Yuji Ramen Tokyo. So this is the kanji for fish. So my guess is that they make fish-based ramen. Tuna kotsu. So not tonkotsu, but tuna kotsu. That's interesting. Looks good. Yeah, lost is fun, I know. That's why I don't care so much if I get lost. I know that my viewers always enjoy it. What's this? Some small community garden? Cute. here's an apartment for rent, but this is in Monzen Nakacho, so not really around here, but kind of close. 31 square meters, 86,000 yen per month. Quite reasonable. Here we have, oh, craft beer, it says. You know, that always makes me interested. And here you have a piano school. If you want to take piano lessons, you might be able to do so here, but it looks like it might be not in use anymore. Not sure. It's pretty old. $86,000 for 31 square meters is not really pricey by Tokyo standards, no. I wouldn't say it is, not by central Tokyo standards. And here's like the place I was talking about before, the Suitengumae kind of street. I might head down there before. This is like, I guess the old street of this area, which has not been that modernized yet, I suppose. We shall see. Finally, a sign pointing towards the garden. Kiyosumi Shrine. So where's the entrance? Yeah, I really... Okay, so now we're here. This is where I got the coffee. And here's the library. So I really just walked around it all. But here's the entrance, I guess. So, and then north is this way. So a little detour, but not a big problem. This also looks interesting. Wine bar. Fuse hair and spa. Is ramen overrated? I don't know. I like ramen a lot, but I don't know. It seems extremely hyped in the West since a few years back. I don't know. It's impossible to answer if it's overrated or not. But I guess it's like one of these things that gets picked up in the West by the cool kids, and then like everybody wants to eat it overnight. But I think it will stick around. It is delicious. I think I need to dig out some coins, which is not super easy to do when I have the camera in one hand and my coffee in another hand. So let's cross the street here and see. Put the coffee here for a moment while I figure out how many coins I need. But also, yeah, the quality, like ramen, it's a wide span. Like cheap, low quality ramen is not very tasty to me. It really has to be like decent. If it's too cheap or just too greasy, it just feels really unhealthy and not so delicious. But I'm more the kind of person who likes a bit lightly flavored ramen. So I'm not really so fond of tonkotsu, like the pork broth, which is very greasy and heavy. Although a lot of people really love that, but I prefer the lighter, like soy flavored or salty based. Also fish ramen in general is very nice. I do like, there's one place close to where I live that makes ramen from I think a river fish called ayu, and that's really delicious. Miso ramen can be nice too, yeah. But tonkotsu is not my best kind. Okay, let's see how much is it. Oh, it's only 150 yen, so very cheap. And actually, I just finished the coffee, so I will throw away this. Stainless steel is hot. Was it? Didn't notice that. こんにちは。150円ですね。
はい、150円ですね。
はい。
はい。低温ですね、ご協力。
あ、はい。
はい。今チケット出します。
はい。
お待ちください。
What happened to my gimbal?
はい、じゃあこちら。
はい、ありがとうございます。There we go. So we're here. I guess in summer it can get hot. So, Kiyosumi Garden, everyone. Beautiful traditional Japanese garden in Tokyo. So let's see, I will try to snap a few photos here. Well, we're already close to the 1 hour mark. 50 minutes since I started today's stream, and we have only passed one station so far, so maybe 2 hours won't be enough for today's walk. Yeah, there's no cherry blossom trees inside here. I see, I didn't know that. I would have assumed. It's beautiful, especially now in the autumn colors. Thank you, YL. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words and for your support. But like I always say, I almost think autumn is my favorite season here in Japan. Of course, spring and cherry blossoms are nice as well, but it's just that season is so short and always end up feeling a bit stressful. And also before the pandemic, it was just so many people coming here. Autumn is a bit more chill because you can see the autumn leaves for much longer and you don't really have to rush. And also it's easier to find autumn leaves than cherry blossom trees. Yeah, 3 hours. Maybe that's what we have to do today. So yeah, I don't like to rush. So let's walk through this garden slowly and enjoy the stunning views. It's so beautiful. And I love how the sun hits the little hill over there. The kois in the pond, I would be extremely surprised if there aren't any, but I don't see any from my current location. However, I see these guys. I imagine tons of work, like man hours, goes into maintaining a place like this. Even these rocks are beautiful. This has like texture that almost like it makes it look like it's wood. Yeah, just imagine without the buildings 100 years ago. Must have been even more beautiful. Those were real, the turtles, yeah. You always see them in Japanese gardens. I guess they like the sun. That's why they come out. It's almost so hot. Like I'm wearing my jacket now. I wish I could take it off, but I don't have enough free hands for that. Maybe if I can find somewhere to put the camera down for a moment. I wonder if you can have a drink here. I already finished my coffee though. There's usually always, or there's almost always like some tea house in gardens like this. Ah, and to the person who asked about fish, here we have one. Hey! So idyllic. Look at all these birds just chilling. It's so scary. Like every time I zoom in, I'm almost feel, oh, I wonder what these are doing. Photo session. Wedding, maybe? Pre-wedding? Yeah, every time I zoom in, I'm always really scared because if I make a mistake and accidentally double tap the screen, it will switch the camera and you will you will get an accidental face reveal. This is beautiful too. Yeah, I could spend hours here just kind of chilling. I regret that I didn't bring a proper camera today. These guys are almost tame. You can almost touch them. I don't know, I'm too scared to try. My face reveal would be bad. Well, I prefer to keep my little bit of privacy here on YouTube. My patrons knows what I look like though. On my Patreon only streams I do show my face. But I just don't feel like having 80,000 plus subscribers knowing my face. I'm too anxious for that. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be too slow here. I could spend hours in a place like this, but after all, we have a train line to finish, so I guess I should pick up the pace a little bit so that we can at least reach Skytree before I run out of battery. Let's check the... currently I have 69% battery, so... and I've been streaming for an hour, so it means today it looks like my phone would be happy to stream for no more than 3 hours, which should be fine though. From here I think if I walk relatively fast I can make it to Skytree in an hour from here, probably even less than that. regret not bringing a proper camera for today. I often do mini face reveals, but I think I've mostly been wearing a mask when I've done that, so I don't know how many of you actually know what I look like. And I think it's good to kind of leave some things up to imagination as well. Thank you for the kind words, Courtney. Yes, I'm so happy to have such an awesome group of people joining me on my walks like this. It's amazing. I'm so happy. Close to 400 viewers now. Wonderful. On the first episode of this walk we had 500, but that was on a weekend. Usually it tends to be more people watching on weekend. How often do you do online streaming? Almost, I think it's on average like 5 times a week. 5-6 times a week. So quite a lot. Quite frequently. And again, it's all thanks to my Patreon supporters and those of you who are sponsoring me through the super chat that I am able to spend this much time on this channel. If it wasn't for you, I had to do other boring work instead. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're the best. Yeah, I can just snap photos here all day. As soon as I take a few steps, there's like another beautiful view somewhere. Like this, for example. And it's perfect with that couple walking there as well. How would we know when you will start another stream? So you can always use the notification function here on YouTube, but that doesn't work really well. So if you want to be safe, that's also a reason to join my Patreon, because then you get the notification through Patreon, which is much more reliable than YouTube's notifications. So I recommend that. I usually announce the streams as soon as I know myself, which is usually around an hour, between 30 minutes to an hour before I start. But I don't have a fixed schedule or anything right now, so yeah, that's about as much of a heads up as I can give. Do you do collabs with other YouTubers? I haven't yet, but I'm open to the idea. This park is a separate video on its own. Yeah, I should come back here and maybe shoot a 4K video of this place, because it is beautiful. It deserves a bit higher quality than what the YouTube live streaming can get. Sorry, I have to take another photo here. I don't know. I don't like the idea of doing collaborations just for the sake of doing a collaboration, but if I do it, I want to do it in a way that feels natural and that makes sense to me. be good to tours around Disneyland and Universal Studios. I have zero interest in those kind of places myself, so that's not gonna happen. I'm sure there's already a million videos of Disneyland, so yeah. Those of you who are familiar with my channel knows that I prefer a little bit more, I don't know, slightly off the beaten track kind of places and residential areas. Places where there aren't like already a million videos. Although I do kind of enjoy Shinjuku and Shibuya as well, but yeah, most of the walks I do tend to be in quieter, lesser known areas. How do we get to that tree? There's the bridge there. Past that bridge, then you can walk to the tree. I didn't do that though. And look at this bird. Okay. Please do not climb the hills, this sign said. But didn't we just see a group of people walking up here? Maybe it's okay if you walk this stone path, I'm not sure. Anyway, I think I will head back to the entrance and continue my walk towards Skytree. I think you can see, yeah, maybe you're able to see this. That's the top of Skytree sticking out behind this building. So Tokyo Skytree is the goal for today's walk. Oh, wait, let's just have a look at this little part as well. It looks kind of nice. So beautiful, these yellow and orange colors. This guy taking a nap under the tree. Maybe, oh, they're doing a photo session here. I think there's not that much of interest around here, but maybe here is a nice place if you bring some food and want to have a picnic. You can have that in this part of the park. It's more like a rest area. Still stream if the weather is cold with snowfall. Yeah, last winter I did stream quite regularly. It doesn't get that cold here in Tokyo, so it's no problem to stream during the winter. Imagine a snowy day here. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I wonder if there will be any snow this winter. Thank you, Brad Ward. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to all my American viewers. And Canadian. I recently learned that you celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada too. I didn't know that before. There's just beautiful spots. Every 5 steps, I think I take there's a new beautiful angle. So maybe this house is just to kind of sit and enjoy the views. I don't know if it's a tea house. Maybe they do serve tea as well. down here. You can't leave the garden. No, I guess not. I guess I can't. It would have been a perfect place for a beer break as well. Not sure if you're allowed to drink alcohol here though. Sometimes these gardens have like signs. At least Shinjuku Gyoen is very strict about no alcohol. But maybe in this one it's not so strict, I don't know. But that's like, it's kind of interesting. Like in Japan, people often comment like when I drink alcohol in public, or especially if I dare to have a beer next to a playground. A lot of people from other parts of the world tend to get kind of surprised or sometimes almost offended, although those things are perfectly fine here in Japan. But yeah, gardens are like almost the only place where there might be some rules about that. Here we have this, or maybe there's two couples. Yeah, I think there's actually two couples doing a photo shoot here today. Yep, I hope you enjoyed this little detour through this garden as much as I did. I'm sure you can tell that I was very happy here. But we have a train line to walk, so let's get moving. We are allowed. Okay, Yamaguchi-san, we are allowed to drink beer in this park. Great. So maybe we should meet here for a beer then. Then it would be far away from both of us. But since you said you wanted to come here again, I don't mind coming back here with my proper camera before all the leaves are gone. So, okay, exit is here. Wonderful. Oh, I think we have a bit of information about the garden here. For those of you who are interested, you can probably watch the replay and pause the screen if you want this information. But opened in 1880. Wow, so almost 150 years ago. 140 years this place has been around. Do you also do videos in countryside or just Tokyo? Mostly the Tokyo area, but whenever I travel I tend to shoot videos as well. So I will be going to Shikoku tomorrow, which is one of the smaller or the main islands of Japan, and I do intend to stream from there as well, even though I'm going there on a work trip, but should be able to do a stream or two. Let me just check. No, I should not head through this park because that's the opposite direction. I should head to the east from here, which is this direction. Northeast. let's head up to the little canal here and follow that for a few blocks. That looks like it should be nice. I'm from Toronto. Let me see what you are asking. Thank you for the super chat. Do you like Magdalena Andersson or her Step Party? I prefer to not talk too much about politics here on this channel, but I do think that it's exciting that Sweden finally got a female prime minister. However, she has already resigned due to some complications, but it seems quite likely that she will end up with that role again very soon. And I do think it sends out a strong and important signal that we're having a female prime minister. So yeah, let's leave it at that. Yes, Dennis is a thing here in Japan. It's the, I guess, American chain. They do have restaurants here too. I think they're owned by 7-Eleven. Yeah, here's Dennis. And you see this 7 and I Holdings sign under the Dennis sign. I'm not sure if I've ever been. So I am not 100% sure, but I think we are in Kotoku right now. Oh, small little local vegetable shop here. Cute. Let me see if I can find a address sign somewhere. Anyway, this part of Tokyo is kind of interesting. If you look at it from a map, you will see that around here the streets are in almost a complete grid pattern, whereas like in the west of Tokyo and where I live, the streets are just a complete mess. There's like hardly any structure to it at all. But around here it's very carefully laid out in a neat grid pattern. That's a bit interesting. What's this place? Studio Gallery. Interesting. Looks like... Let me check this sign here. Oh. It's some Fukushima related photo exhibition. It actually looks quite interesting. But it's not open. Is this a... okay, I thought, is this a coffee shop? But it's an eyelash salon. So if any of you needs new eyelashes, you should be able to get them there. But yeah, also this part of Tokyo is, I think pretty big portions of it is actually built on man-made land. Not sure about this specific location where I am right now, but I know that there are some other parts of Kotoku which is made from man-made land. And yeah, basically the reason why it is arranged in this way is because it was completely destroyed in the World War. So when they rebuilt it, I guess they decided to build it like this. Again, I'm so bad at Japanese history, so always take everything I say with a grain of salt, and do always double and triple check facts with other sources. Do not rely on what I'm saying. Another cafe here. So let's see if we can walk next to this little river. Nowhere to cross. Okay, I have to go down 1 block. So now we're still at Kiyosumi Shrine station. So I haven't made much progress in this 1 hour and 15 minutes that I've been streaming so far. How do Japans keep their streets clean? I don't know. People here just respect each other and they value the concept of having nice and tidy public spaces. I wish the West could learn a little bit from Japan. Like every time I go back to Sweden and Europe in general, I just feel that everybody's so selfish and only care about themselves. Here in Japan, it's very different, and it just makes living here so much more pleasant. Tokyo Explorer need to think about lunch. I do need to think about lunch, yes, but I will have lunch after this stream. I won't have time to have lunch during the stream. I need to pick up my daughter at kindergarten at 2. It's now 11:30 and it takes me 1 hour to get there. Just the train ride back takes me an hour. So I need to be done with this stream in an hour and a half at the latest. I should get a haircut here. Le Garçon. I like the name. Signs are pretty nice too. How would you like your hair? Look at this. Yeah, maybe I should come back here and get a haircut. So again, we are now in front of the station. So 2 lines stop here. It's the Hanzomon line, but also the Oedo line. Hope I'll be able to walk here. Still haven't gotten a haircut. No, I have not. I have not. 4G reception quality is insane. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that the quality is holding up. We did have a little bit of a hiccup at some point, but I think that's all, right? Only once so far during today's stream. Had a very brief little interruption. He's going for the long bushy look. Yeah, I am. Look at this. Look at this bum look. Look like a homeless person. Again, took a Skytree over there. That's where we're heading. Which will come first, kimchi, natto, or haircut? I don't know. I don't know. Station is Morishita, but that's not on the Hanzomon line, right? Morishita is on. Thank you, Fungus, for the super chat. Kimchi and natto while getting a haircut. That's the plan. That would be epic. That would be epic. Morishita, I think, is not on the Hanzomon line, right? Morishita is like Toei Nantoka line. Or am I wrong here? I think next station that I should be targeting would be Sumiyoshi. Isn't that right? Most people in Japan pay with cash or credit card. I think it's still mostly cash, but credit cards are getting way more common these days. A couple of years ago I paid cash everywhere because you didn't really have much of an option unless you were shopping at like big department stores, but like smaller local restaurants and so on, they usually didn't take cards. But these days you can pay with card pretty much everywhere. So Morishita Station. Both Oedo Line and Hanzomon Line. Ah, そっか. Then Morishita should be my next stop then. Oh, そっか. Yeah. I'm confused now. そっか. That means I need to cross here and walk north. So let's do that. Thank you, Yamaguchi-san, for saving my day. It would be a shame if I missed the station on my way to Tokyo Skytree. No, I'm sorry, Yamaguchi-san, but I think you're wrong. Here is the station list according to Wikipedia. Suitengumae, Kiyosumi Shrine, Sumiyoshi, Kinshicho, Oshiage. So, yeah, that means I will keep walking east along this little canal towards Sumiyoshi Station, which is a few blocks down, and then to the left or like to the north from here. Confusing. Someone asked if tourists can use Suica. Absolutely, you can. It's very easy to get one. You just charge it with money in a vending machine at the station. There are certain like tourist Suica with special motifs that I think you can buy even at the airport. Yeah, and getting a Suica card is what I would recommend, because it just makes using the public transportation so much easier. Otherwise you have to look up the price of the exact trip that you're going and get the ticket each time, and that's a bit of a pain. Seems like we're hovering around 400 viewers. Goes down a little, goes up again. Down, up, down, up. 400 is a good number. Is that water clean? I would not want to drink it. It doesn't look terribly clean, actually. Is this Sumida River? I'm not sure. It could be. Let's see if we can figure it out, if we have a name. There's like, in this area there's a little network of smaller canals. Then there's the major rivers, which would be Sumida River on the west Enjoying my forehead so much. Yeah, face reveal, I guess. A little bit. Forehead and messy hair reveal. Yeah, we do get the occasional brief hiccups. Actually, I'm kind of starting to question this app that I got that's supposed to prevent that from happening. I almost feel that since getting that, it's actually causing more of them, more of these brief interruptions. So I might stop using that and just rely on my good old Rakuten connection, which has proved itself worthy many times over. I usually picture you with glasses. I see. No, I do wear glasses at home at night, but other than that, it's contacts. And yeah, whenever there's those interruptions, just try refreshing the video, then it usually comes back much quicker than if you just wait. I think this interruption was just like a few seconds, but could maybe cause like a minute or so to some people. Thank you, Katrina Johnson. 11 months of membership. That's a long time. Thank you so much for sticking with me and for keep coming back. And also look at this gorgeous, perfectly aligned pile of cones. Wonderful. Yeah, it's annoying whenever those hiccups happen, then a lot of viewers disappear, but they mostly tend to come back pretty quick. Do I go to other places? Yes, please check the channel. Like, you can see that there are lots of videos from outside of Tokyo as well, but the vast majority is from Tokyo. But there is a video from Kyoto, there's tons of videos from Kyushu, there's Yokohama, there's even some Hokkaido videos, some Okinawa videos. So yeah, I've been to many parts of Japan on this channel, but of course the focus is Tokyo because that's where I live. So I think we should cross here. I don't think I've seen Ray in a while. Yeah, usually when I stream at this time, it's, you know, middle of the night in Europe, so he's not able to join. But he's usually joining my evening streams. Hanzomon line is under this canal? I don't think so. I don't think it's straight under. Well, I'm not sure. But it might be running like a block or two down here. But the next station is over here. Have I always lived in Tokyo? No. I came here in 2008. Before that, I was living in Germany for a brief time, but I'm born and raised in Sweden. Hope to see my stream in New York one day. Yeah, I hope I can stream from New York one day too. I would love to go to New York. Is snow in Japan? I don't see much snow here, but Japan is a pretty big country, and in the northernmost parts there's probably snow by now. Let's walk down one block here and then keep walking to the east. helicopter. Yeah, snow in Tokyo usually comes in like January, February. I don't think it has ever snowed in November during the time I've been here. But Hokkaido and the mountainous regions have snow. Yeah, Japan seaside. That's right. There's usually more snow there. Not a low-flying helicopter like yesterday. That's right. That's right. That one was very, very low. Okay, so now we're definitely in Kotoku. Koto Ward. So we're near Kikukawa station, but that's a different line, so that doesn't really concern us. Where we want to go is here to Sumiyoshi station. That's the Hanzomon line. Hanzomon line is here. So, and then here it turns to the north and goes north all the way up to Skytree. And that's what we will be doing as well. Do you like Kings of Convenience? I very much do, yes. I very much do. I'm actually friends with one of the members since many, many years ago. So I was very pleased when they released a new album earlier this year. First one is in over, what, 10 years, I think. Why many Japanese still want to live abroad permanently when this country seems wealthy? Well, there's more to a country than what meets the eye, I suppose. Japan is a great place to live, but there's also some problems that I think make a lot of people unhappy here. So, but on the surface it's a very nice country and might even look close to perfect to some people. And I've been truly enjoying my time here in the 13 years I've been living here. But as my regular viewers know, my days here are probably numbered. I don't plan to get old here or to raise my child here. The blue arrow on the road, that's actually a bike lane. This is what a Japanese bike lane looks like. And also one of the reasons why biking in Tokyo is pretty hard is that everywhere you see this. Cars that are parked on the bike lanes when there is one. They're not that common actually, bike lanes, but when there are, people just, I don't know. Here in Japan it's kind of okay if you need to stop for a brief moment to just park wherever. And a lot of people do that all the time. So, yeah. Yeah, every country has its issues. But if all you care about in life is clean streets, then it would be very difficult to find any problems with living in Japan. That's for sure. So some Frankfurt, Germany. No, never been there. No thoughts. At least there's a sidewalk here. Many times it's just a white line on the pavement. That's right. That's right. This is kind of luxurious, actually. It's probably at least 2 meters wide sidewalk. That's perfect. I wish all roads in Tokyo were like this, but many roads are just like this, where there's just a white line that separates the cars from the people, which, as a parent to a small child who is just starting to walk, that's not very reassuring. Skytree. Skytree. Here's an interesting playground. It's not totally sad, not as sad as the ones under the highways, but it's also a little bit sad with just this one toy and not that much else going on. Very sad. I would say on the sadness level from 1 to 5, where 1 is not sad at all and 5 is very sad, I would rate that little park maybe a 4. Yeah, a 4 is probably what I would rank it on the playground sadness level ranking. But again, there was a tree there, and there was no big road above it, so it's not all that bad. Let's see. I wonder what shop this is. Takeout dekimasu. They do takeout, but I don't know what kind of shop it is. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to eat anything. I need to walk a little bit further this direction, and then we will almost be at the Sumiyoshi station. And also these streets are not so busy. I always feel it's more sad when there's like a playground next to like a really busy road. This is just a small local street, so it's not so sad. Getting really hungry actually, but don't know when I will have time for lunch. Let's see what time it is when I reach Skytree. There's 3 more stops until we get there. We almost walked for 2 hours, but only passed 1 station so far. But we did have some quality time in that garden, so that was totally worth it. these apartment buildings, how many floors does it take to have an elevator? I don't know. It usually depends on the building type and age. For example, this one looks like an older, typical danchi, like kind of public housing unit. These sometimes don't have elevators. Probably this one doesn't, as it's just 4 stories. But I would guess that this building here, this one probably has an elevator. Oh, look at this place. It's a big Buddha statue here. And looks like a graveyard. Interesting temple. Kannon, that's right. Kannon statue. Not a Buddha statue, yeah, sorry. Do you plan to send your daughter to live and study abroad? We are planning to move abroad soon. Mostly for her sake, yes. Plan to take her through the Japanese education system. So, if I remember correctly, I think station should be up here. Just a few more blocks, and then I can turn north and just walk north. Back to Sweden specifically. Not necessarily Sweden, but that's probably where we're going first, at least, to kind of try to just to get all the paperwork and residence permits and so on in order for the family, since that's where I'm from. But then we wouldn't mind living in any other Scandinavian country, or maybe even somewhere else in Europe. I don't know. It really depends on how everything else in our lives develop. Oh yes, of course, my daughter will learn Japanese. My wife only speaks Japanese to her, and she's in a Japanese nursery now, so we definitely expect her to learn Japanese. And even if we move abroad, it's important to both of us that she learns Japanese for her future. Is college tuition expensive in Japan? Yes. Well, not as expensive as in the US, but here's another little restaurant. Smelled like garlic. Like garlic being fried in oil. That's a nice smell. It's expensive compared to Sweden, where all education is free. Wait a minute, let me just check. I need to check my bearings. Actually, I am kind of heading a little bit so now. I should probably have turned here. So let's do that. There's a nice park, but I can't. Looks like I can't enter it. I have to walk pretty far in the wrong direction. We're at 400 viewers again. Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Here's some housing ad. You can buy a 73 square meter apartment for 37 million yen. I'm trying to figure out how far it is from nearest station. Can't find that right now, but that's actually quite reasonable by Tokyo standards. It's significantly cheaper than in the part of the city where I live. And yeah, Kotoku, Sumidaku, perfectly flat. Pretty much, I think so, yeah. It's very flat around here. And I'm not sure how safe this area would be in case of a major earthquake or flooding, because it is mostly lowlands. Hardly see any police in the streets of Tokyo. Oh, there's lots of police. We see them all, like almost next to every station. There's usually a small koban, which is like the local police station. And you usually see them patrol the area on bicycles. So Japan has a pretty good system of these like neighborhood police stations, which seems to be working quite well, and it also means that the police are very familiar with their local neighborhoods, which means a lot. So here's this park. Let's check that out. Sarue Koen. Oh, but maybe first we should at least get a peek at the station, because after all, that's what this walk is about. It's about following the Hanzomon line. So here, this is the Sumiyoshi station. See, people are coming out. Okay, good. So now we've had a peek at the station. Now we can enter the park. Is there a Japanese Saturday school in Sweden for the kids? Not sure if there's Saturday school. I don't know the answer to that question. So, another park. Another park. How many stations more? So I think there's just 2 stations left, right? Kinshicho and Oshiage. But these, yeah, the distance between the stations here is way longer than in the beginning of this series, like around Shibuya. Shibuya, Omotesando, Aoyama. Those stations are pretty close together. But here is much more of a distance between them. Here's another nice park. Not sure if I've been in this park before. I don't think I have. How are Japanese taxes compared to Sweden? Marginally lower, I would say. Marginally lower. But you don't get as much for your money. In Sweden you pay a little bit more, but on the other hand, healthcare is entirely free. Here in Japan you still have to pay 30% of the healthcare costs if you are insured. And also education here costs a lot. It's entirely free in Sweden. You have to pay highway tolls, whereas the highways are entirely free in Sweden except for entering Stockholm city. Then there's a toll system to ease congestion. But other than that, all the roads are free to use in Sweden. or not, that's not entirely true. You do pay a like vehicle tax in Sweden if you have a car, and part of that goes to maintaining the roads, I guess. But yeah, it's not like here where you actually have to pay a lot. If you were to drive a car from Tokyo to Osaka, it would cost several thousand yen. So yeah, we talk about taxes regularly on this channel. I should probably do like a written guide about the differences and what my thoughts are. Something's very wrong today. There's now 2 parks with lakes and no swan boats. That is indeed strange, because as I always say, whenever there's a park in Japan, you always find, or whenever there's a little lake or pond, there's always swan boats. But yeah, we haven't seen any today. I think that the body of water has to have a certain minimum size in order to make it eligible to have those swan boats. Also, I'm not sure if I'm lost now. Let's see, I need to check the map. Oh no, looks about right. Looks about right. I just need to cross this road and we will be on our way again. Wishful walking videos. Hello to you, my dear mega supporter. I did a little shout out to Wishful walking videos in the beginning of this stream, but now since he's here I might do it again, because he's a very kind and generous mega supporter of my channel, which means that he plays a big part in keeping this channel going. And he does walking videos as well from Japan, but from more rural parts of Japan. So if that sounds interesting to you, you should definitely check out his channel. You will find the link in the video description. So here's another entrance to the Sumiyoshi station. And here's a Moss Burger and some people smoking on their lunch break. How popular is learning Japanese in Sweden? I honestly don't know. It was not very popular when I was living there, when I went to school in Sweden. But that might have changed now. I'm guessing that it's more popular now than 20 plus years ago. But I don't really have a number. It's not one of the major languages to study though, that's for sure. Feel different between Swedish and Norwayer. That's an interesting word. Yeah, I think we're a bit different. I guess you're asking about like Swedish people compared to Norwegian people, if there are any noticeable or noteworthy differences. I think largely we're probably the same, like we share kind of similar values and come from similar countries. But I do feel that Norwegians are maybe a bit more proud of their own country. And they should be, because their country is gorgeous. And also Norway is a quite way richer country than Sweden, which I think makes Norwegian people, I don't know, maybe they're a little bit more safe and comfortable in a way. Do you know how to skateboard? No. Skateboarding a few, hurting myself, and that made me scared, so I stopped. Norway has a lot of oil. Yes, that is exactly why they are so rich. Sweden has no oil. Norway has a lot. So that makes things very different. COVID situation in Japan. I generally don't want to talk too much about COVID because it's like everywhere and a lot of people are tired about it. And you can easily find the answers to those kind of questions in any newspaper or a quick search on Google. But quick version, it was very high case numbers here back in August, but since then it has slowed down significantly, and now there are like super low case numbers. But of course there's always a lot of question marks around that, but it feels like it's pretty good here right now. Thought Sweden is much richer, especially Volvo. Well, Volvo, they had to sell a large part of their operations to China, so they're not that rich, I guess. I mean, Sweden is also a pretty wealthy country by global standards, of course, but there's still a pretty big difference between Sweden and Norway in terms of salary and cost of living as well. So a lot of Swedes, especially like younger Swedes, they often go to Norway once they graduate high school or university, go to Norway to do some like low status job there for like a year or so and save up money, and then they go travel the world for a year. The salaries in Norway are high. Also a lot of healthcare workers tend to move from Sweden to Norway because they can earn maybe twice as much. So yeah, it's quite different. But also cost of living in Norway is much higher, of course. Yes, someone asked if that was Skytree. Yes, we did catch a glimpse of Skytree just now, and that's where I'm heading today. Look at this interesting building, like very, very high compared to all the surrounding buildings. Looks lonely. Wow, this turned out to be a way longer stream than I had anticipated. I'm almost feeling a little bit of time pressure, but let's see. I'm pretty sure I will make it to Skytree before 1 o'clock, which would be the absolute latest. Sweden versus Denmark. I think the big thing that comes to mind is the vast difference in alcohol regulations. In Sweden, alcohol is very kind of, I don't know, you can only buy alcohol at the state-owned shops, and they are generally not open very late. Also, alcohol is quite expensive because it has a high tax in Sweden, but Denmark has nothing of that. You can buy alcohol everywhere, and it's very cheap compared to in Sweden. So people living in the south of Sweden often go to Denmark just for the sole purpose of either drinking or buying alcohol and bringing with them back home to Sweden. So that's one thing. Also, kind of interesting, the size is very different if you exclude Greenland. If you count Greenland, which does belong to Denmark, then Denmark is very, very big. But mainland Denmark is kind of tiny compared to Sweden. So it's actually quite a bit more dense in terms of population. Also, I feel like Danes are much happier than Swedes. But maybe that's just my stereotypical image. I don't know. But I feel that Danish people are very friendly and open and chill. Swedish people are more like me, boring and stiff. Hey dog. So, let's see. Where are we now? Why does my wife like Sweden? I don't know. It's exotic. It's very different for her, I guess. Even though she's lived there, so it's not that super exotic to her. But I mean, it's very different in terms of population. Size-wise, Japan and Sweden are about the same, but the entire population of Sweden is smaller than the population of Tokyo. So in Sweden there's a lot of space for everyone and lots of nature. Even if you're in a big city, cities are very green and there's always nature nearby. So that is, I think, one reason. And also she really likes Scandinavian design in general. And the kind of Scandinavian way of life is very appealing to her. So, yeah. Warren from Toronto, thank you for the super chat. How do Swedish view Britain? Do they like London? Yeah. A lot of people like London. It's so close to us. And we can fly to London from Stockholm for like no money at all. At least we could before the pandemic. So it's very popular for like weekend trips. A lot of Swedes also move to London for work. So it's quite popular. There are a lot of migrant community in Sweden. Yes, Sweden has a percentage-wise pretty high amount of migrants or immigrants. So that's a pretty polarizing topic, but I think it's quite interesting that so many non-Swedes are now a part of the Swedish society, and many who have lived in Sweden for generations are very well integrated, but there's also some issues with people who are struggling to get integrated into the Swedish society, and that has caused some issues as well. How do you end up in Japan? I think I've answered that question in the FAQ in the video description, so please read that. Where are we now? I think we're close to Kinshicho. Yes, it says Kinshicho Eki on the bridge over there. So we're close to Kinshicho, which is the last station we are passing before we reach Skytree. How do Sweden and Finland compare? That's a good question. I don't know. That is more difficult to explain to me. I feel that we're generally very similar, although our languages are vastly different. But a lot of people in Finland speak Swedish as well. But culturally, I think we're quite similar. You like Japan? Yes. Otherwise I wouldn't have lived here for 13 years. There's no point in staying at a place you don't like for so long. This is actually a pretty big station. I don't come here often at all. I think I've only been here like once or twice before, but it's really, it feels like a major station. Now look at this, you see the reflection of Skytree. That's nice. Silver Line train, yes. So let's pass through the station building. Thumbnail. But it's kind of cool, this reflection of Skytree. So, station number 13, Kinshicho. Station number 13 on the Hanzomon line. So here's, I think, is this a map of the entire... No, it's not. This is the bus network. And people, please, like questions that you can easily find the answer on Google, just check there rather than asking here, like what's the population of Japan? Like, I don't know, couldn't you have typed that into Google? So, Kinshicho station, not sure, looks like I can't walk through here, it's just the gates. Okay, so let's walk under the bridge here. Did we get the jonks again? Jonks, by the way, is this briefly. What's the most popular Japanese electronics brand that Japanese would always buy? Sony or Panasonic? I don't know. I think they're both popular, together with Fujitsu and Toshiba and all those other companies. Is there a Japanese cultural thing you had to get used to? Many. The culture is very different in many ways, and it helps if you learn about it. I think the biggest problem, or like the biggest challenge for me, is that here in Japan you're not really allowed to be too direct to people, especially if you say something with a slightly negative connotation. Let's walk down here. So that's a bit of a difference. In Sweden we tend to be quite direct to each other. But in Japan people would be they could be offended if you spoke to them in a too direct manner. So, especially if you want to complain or something, and to say is like, why are you late today again? You wouldn't necessarily say it like that. Maybe you would instead ask, like, was the train delayed, or did you have an accident on your way to work, or something like that. So it's now 12:30 and we just have one more stop, which is the last stop of this line. So I think we can make it. I think we can make it to Skytree soon. And I'm pretty sure you will enjoy the view once I turn the corner here. We just walked down 1 or 2 blocks here. I think there's this quite nice street. Hello, office. Hello. I think there's this nice street which is just very, very straight to Skytree. Did we have a reflection reveal in the bus? It happens all the time. Hope you enjoyed it. Block that direction, but anyway, let's walk down here. No, you're not allowed to have a gun in Sweden. Guns aren't allowed unless you're like using it for hunting purposes, but then it's very rigorous testing. So yeah, Sweden doesn't have widespread gun use, thank God. Yeah, maybe you're mixing it up with Switzerland. I think Switzerland has a pretty unique situation regarding guns. Oh, look at this. Coffee and hot cake. That sounds interesting. Hot cake probably means just pancake. Oh, looks good. I'm so hungry now, but I don't have time. I need to walk to Skytree. That's all that matters right now. Another little coffee shop. I didn't know. Seems like there's lots of coffee shops in this area. I should maybe come back here with more time sometime soon. Look at this. This is the stuff that nightmares are made from. We are getting near. We are getting closer to Skytree and the end of this walk. And I think someone asked what's the next plan. I don't know. The next plan is to go to Shikoku for work tomorrow and spend a few days there and hopefully make a couple of streams as well while I'm in Shikoku. Then I think I will consult my Patreon supporters about what my next walk should be. So that's also a reason why you should join me on Patreon, because then you get to sometimes influence where I walk and where I go to shoot these videos. So that could be maybe, hopefully, fun to some of you. be in Komatsu. No, I will be in Takamatsu. So yeah, you get access to Patreon only streams, you get access to maps of the streams, you get access to me, and to vote in things like where I should walk, or even give me direct suggestions, which is actually how I ended up in Nikko about a month ago. I did a Patreon only stream where I asked my patrons where they wanted me to go, and during that stream we decided that I should go to Nikko, and an hour later I was on a train on my way there. So yeah, if you think that sounds fun and you want to be a part of that and also support the channel at the same time, then here's the street I was thinking about, where you have a very nice view of Skytree. So let's just walk up here. So actually, since I'm going to Takamatsu, I would love to go on a boat ride around there. Maybe to one of the islands in the Seto Inland Sea. If I had like unlimited time, I would love to go to Naoshima and stream to you from there. Don't think I will be able to do that this time though, but maybe I can figure out at least somehow to shoot a little video from a boat. Because boats are great. And inland sea is beautiful. So let's see what we can do. Do you guys know this smell of like hot electronics? Like new, when you buy some electronic thing that includes some sort of heating element, like a new oven or a new, I don't know, a new room heater or something. You know that smell? I was feeling that smell very strongly just now. Pretty weird to feel that on the street. A little bit like burnt plastic. Yeah, I don't like that smell. Yeah, that brand new thing smell. Take a boat to Naoshima and then take another back to Uno. Yeah, I was thinking about that. And I need to look into the ferry schedule. It could be doable. There's also a slower ferry from Takamatsu to, I think, to Kobe, which would be lovely to take. But it takes like 4.5 hours. So I'm not sure if I have time for that. I will probably be there. I will leave tomorrow and go back on Monday. But as I said, the main reason for going to Shikoku is because of work. So depending on how much time I need to spend on those things, I may or may not be able to go on a boat trip. Could it be the smell from the Skytree? It's relatively new. That's an interesting thought, yeah. But it's been here for like 10 years now, hasn't it? What are the things you hate about Japan? I think hate is a very strong word, and I don't like to use that word together with Japan because I very much like this country and most of the aspects of it. So yeah, but some areas where I feel that there's plenty of room for improvement would be the education system and the political system. Those areas are a bit problematic from my point of view, in my opinion. And also when it comes to gender equality, Japan has a lot of catching up to do, which also feels very relevant now that I have a daughter who is born here. It does impact some of our decisions about her future. This building is perfectly blocking the Skytree. Oh, and do you guys see the airplane above it? The bureaucracy in Japan, yeah, it's also not really great. But to be fair, I think Swedish bureaucracy can be a pain as well. But and this, I just have to mention this. There's lots of museums in Tokyo, but one of the most interesting ones in terms of themes has to be this one, the Tobacco and Salt Museum. It actually used to be located in Tokyo, in Shibuya, but they moved here not too long ago. And it's actually quite interesting. I went to the one before they moved, and just because me and my friends, we were always joking about going to the Tobacco and Salt Museum because we thought it sounded so kind of silly or funny that there was such a place. Should we go to the Modern Art Museum or should we go to the Tobacco and Salt Museum today? I think the tobacco and salt sounds more interesting, right? So yeah, it's funny. And smoking is cool, exactly. So I went there and I was surprised over how interesting it was. It actually, like the history of tobacco and salt here in Japan. Now I've forgotten about it because it was many, many years since I went there, but it was surprisingly interesting. Now there's a strong smell of fresh paint. I don't know what tobacco is called. I think we were just being ironic there. We've really been hovering around 400 viewers. Feels like there's only 400 people on this planet who are interested in my walks, and you're all here watching right now. That's great. I'd rather have 400 involved viewers than 4,000 uninvolved ones. You know of a city called Ehime? Yes, I do. It's well, I know Ehime Prefecture. I'm not familiar with Ehime City. I've never been there, but I passed through the prefecture. But I don't know more than that. Is MC Hammer Swedish? No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's American. It's definitely not Swedish. Unfortunately, I would have loved if he was. Where is it exactly on the map again? Open Google Maps and search for Tokyo Skytree and you will find out. Also, or you can join me on Patreon. That way you will get access to a map of this walk, which I will share later today if everything goes according to plan. Do you live nearby Hachioji? No, I do not. I do not. Hachioji is very far to the west. I do not live there. I live near Futako Tamagawa. Matsuyama is the major city in Ehime Prefecture. That's right. That's right. I don't know if there's a Ehime city as well, or if it's just a prefecture. Oh, 419 people now, so apparently there's 5% more people than I initially expected. Who cares about my channel? Getting closer. It's almost so close that I can touch it. Well, not really, but almost. What's the real purpose of Skytree? I think it's for television broadcasts mainly, which used to be handled by Tokyo Tower, but now Tokyo Tower is not high enough because of all the high rises, so they had to build something higher, and that ended up being Skytree. Kompira-sama. I see. Is that what's I don't know what that is, but I'll look it up and I will try to go there if I can. Is that a 5G mast? Yeah, I think so. It's probably where they create the COVID. Has anyone ever base jumped off Skytree? I don't think so. I don't know, but I would imagine that the security is very, very high to prevent that from happening. Here's a mountain that has a shrine on top of it. Okay, sounds nice. Sounds interesting. I will try to go there. So, let's see, we need to go to the east side of Skytree because that's where Oshiage Station is located, which is the last stop of the Hanzomon line and also where I will jump on the train and head back home to go pick up my daughter from the nursery. Mansion Oshiage. Is Minnie doing better from her cold? Yeah, she is. She's getting better, but she's still not entirely well. So, we made it to Skytree. We made it to the tallest building in Tokyo. Walked all the way from Shibuya to Skytree over the course of 3 live streams and a total of about 5.5 hours to cover the entire Hanzomon line. I guess I should go to the actual station, which is just down here, where we can wave goodbye. I really kind of need to rush now. But thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this little series, and after my Shikoku trip I will probably start another train line series, and as I mentioned before, I will let my Patreons be part in deciding where I should do my next walk. So if you haven't already, please consider joining me on Patreon. That's a great way to support the channel and will give you access to plenty of different perks, including live stream, Patreon exclusive live streams and maps of the walks and other goodies. So yeah, that's something I recommend if you can, and something that would make me very happy. If not, just watching here on YouTube is great too, especially if you bother clicking the like button. That's another way to support the channel, which means a lot. So if you haven't already, please consider doing so. But yeah, I think that will be it for today. Here's the Oshiage Skytree station. So I made it. I did make it all the way through. Across here. See you in Takamatsu. Yeah, I'm excited. I've actually been to Takamatsu once before, probably about 5 years ago. I was on my way to Naoshima. Didn't really explore the city that much though, but now I will stay there for 3 nights. So that should give me a better sense of what the city of Takamatsu is all about. But yeah, that's where I will leave things today. Thank you so much, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Hej då. Auf Wiedersehen. Mata ne.